So reading is obviously not a competition. It's a hobby. Sometimes people do it for work, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how much you read or what you read, just that you are, in fact, reading. You are consuming a story and becoming all the better for it through the power of literature. However, these rules do not apply to me. I need to have that element of competition. I need to see how many books I have read at the end of the month, and I need it to be a lot because I have to continuously surpass myself, otherwise I will stagnate. If I am not tracking how many books I am reading in a month, I am not reading. If I don't have the little carrot on the stick ahead of me saying, if you finish this book, you will officially read 6 books this month, which surpasses last month, then I might as well get fucked because it doesn't work for me. So, I have, unfortunately, fallen into a slump at the beginning of this month, and my reading has fallen behind, which is especially tragic given that it is October and I am a horror thriller reader. I have fallen behind in the season where I should be of my greatest power. So, we are artificially inflating my numbers. We are increasing my book count by reading a series of short books so that I can reach double digits this month. So, my plan for this video is that I have a pile of horror novellas, plus one horror novel that's very short. I don't know what constitutes as a novella versus horror novel, but we're gonna speed walk past that. I have a pile of novellas, and through this last stretch of October, I am going to read them. Here is my pile. I have 5 books here, one of which I've already started. You can guess which one at the end. But they're all horror novellas of varying sort of horror subcategories. So there's no organization to this. We're going to start at the top of the stack and move our way forward. So the first one is the one that I absolutely need to finish this month, because otherwise there's not going to be a good time for it for another whole ass year. My Discord is just up in the background. But the first book is Halloween Fiend by C.V. Hunt. This book essentially follows this town where there's this monster named Halloween. And basically, it comes to everybody's door every single day and is basically like, hey yo, give me a treat, and then they feed it live animals. I believe that this book follows a group as they try and defeat this evil assaulting the town, and all live happily ever after, I assume, hopefully. So, the next book I have on my TBR for this video is a novella called Sour Candy. This is by Keelan Patrick Burke. Basically, this is a book and you are following this guy named Phil. And Phil has this son. He takes him around everywhere. He's... Jay? Hi. The old ball and chain came home. So yeah, he has this son. They go everywhere. Sometimes this son misbehaves and people are like, yo, get your kid under control. But, plot twist, he's only known this kid for like 2 weeks. It's not his kid.
There is only one thing worse than a rapist. Boom. A child. No.
Next up on our pile is one that you probably know if you follow horror novels. It's a pretty popular recommendation within the sphere. It's the one I own the longest, and I'm not actually so we are changing now, and that is The Ballad of Black Tom. This book follows a man. I think he might be a sorcerer, and I know it is Lovecraftian in nature. I don't actually know a whole lot about this book because I got it so long ago. I know that by nature Lovecraftian, it's going to be some... And describable terror. This book had kind of fallen on the wayside for me for no particular reason other than that Lovecraft is not one of my. It's not a word I gravitate to. It's not a genre I particularly think I would like. Not that I've consumed a whole lot of media, but I sort of put this back at the top of my list after reading The City We Became, because there's like a Lovecraftian monster in that. So I was interested in reading a horror comparison to that that is not actually Lovecraft, because I don't care for him as a person. Hi, so the rest of this footage got, like, increasingly fucked up, and, like, I didn't want to try and have to sort through it, because basically I don't like listening to myself talk in these clips. So I'm just gonna pop in here, editing Kelsey, and give you the last two books that were on this TBR from the start. The first one I'm gonna go with is the one that is tentatively called a novella. It is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I think a lot of places will call this a novel. It is the same length as like at least two of the books in this TBR, so I'm gonna include it basically because I wanted to read it and I wanted to have an extra an extra book for this video. So here it is. This book follows a family. I know it features a lot of unreliable narration, and this family is kind of like outcasts in their community, and strange things are happening, and you don't quite understand whether or not it is actually a ghost story or if it is just bad luck and bad people. And then the final one for this TBR is The Cockroach King by Andrew Cole. Sorry, the camera's flipped. This book basically follows this family. They move into this house. What are you doing, you little freak? This book follows this family that moves into the house. It's a single mom and her son, and very soon after they move in, they unearth this skeleton of a dog. And after they do that, increasingly strange things happen around the house, and it borders on being dangerous, and I assume it is sort of your typical Halloween story, or not Halloween, haunted house story from that point on. That is the TBR, basically my book count for this month, but it is also just to give short horror a full exploration and really dive in to the different genres that are featured in these novellas and sort of see what I like and what I don't like. So I will catch up to you at the end of this video. Until then, be well. We do not have much time. I look like a tangerine. But you know who I look like? I look like Harper from Wizards of Waverly Place, but we don't have time to elaborate on that further. So, I brought two books to do my downtime. I've already started Halloween Fiend, so this is the one I'm going to work through. First, I'm on page 16 out of like 100 and something. Oh, I have an extra bookmark in here. How fun. 103. That's how many. Very thin. Text is really small though, so nothing to say about this. I also brought The Ballad of Black Tom though, in case I finished it, because it is so short. Other plans for today. I have to plan for my D&D session tomorrow, so I don't know how much reading I'm going to be able to get done in tandem with that. Probably a decent amount, because I'll have extra time, I assume. I also have to well, I don't have to. I'm probably going to end up playing Coral Island. So, nothing else to say. Just, those are the things I have planned for today. I have to walk into the building for work. So, I am so bored. I do not care for the main character. I do not care for any of the side characters. I do not care for the monster. There is nothing in this novella that is captivating me, but I am determined to finish it. I'm 50 pages through, so give me another hour and I will be done. And I'll give you an update on my final thoughts. So I did finish Halloween Fiend. In full disclosure, I started it before I actually started this video, like on the 3rd of October, and I kind of, like, I only got like 16 pages in. I think I mentioned that before, but I was kind of slumpy at the time, so I kind of assumed that the reason I couldn't get into it was because I was slumpy, and I thought it would pick up later. I just wasn't motivated to get into the part where it picked up. That was incorrect of me. I'm sorry for assuming this book would have anything happen in it. The reason I actually couldn't get into it was just because it was super fucking boring. There was like no significant events. I didn't find anything particularly scary or fascinating. Excuse me. And overall, it was a slog to get through, not enjoyable. However, I do think it has an audience. I think if you were like looking for something that was Halloween themed and like you were reading it on Halloween in the dark with like a pumpkin spice candle or something, like that might be your gig. I just don't think I'm the type of person who likes holiday stories. Like, I have not, every single time I've read a story that was themed or like set on Halloween and that it was like titled after Halloween, I haven't enjoyed it, and this was kind of a test of that. It sounded compelling. It sounded like something that might interest me. I normally like novellas, but this was just not a win for me. 2 stars, but that actually might change. I'm honestly kind of like, there's nothing objectively wrong with it, so I'm not gonna rate it 1 star. But I just did not enjoy it. It was not for me, guys. However, I also started The Ballad of Black Tom. I'm like 150, no, not 100. I'm 55 pages into it. Really liking it. Definitely enjoying it. Think it's a good book. Kind of like, I should have read it earlier. Like, I'm kind of kicking myself because it's like, man, this is something that is what I enjoy. So I think I'm just like, I'm looking forward to finishing it. I'll let you know when I do, or if I have anything else significant to say, but that's sort of where I am at right now. Good morning, everyone. Despite everything, I came out on the other side alive, and if I didn't include the clips that provide context to that statement, I'm not going to elaborate. So this morning, I finished The Ballad of Black Tom. Very much enjoyed it. It was a fun little read. I love filming in a parking lot. It was a fun read. It was really enjoyable. I ended up rating it 4 stars because even though I did enjoy it, like from start to finish, there's a POV change in the middle, and I wish that there had been a second in like the POV after the POV shift. For things to sort of build up like a little bit more. Like, I wish like things had gotten a little more creepy in the middle. I wouldn't say that this is scary, but I like Books and Lala, Kayla, we stan. She made a statement when talking about What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher that I found very interesting and agreeable, that horror is not always about scaring you. Horror sometimes is the genre when like something, like when a character is witnessing something that is horrific, like it's equally about scaring the character as it is scaring you in certain circumstances. So I think The Ballad of Black Tom is very much horror in that second definition, in that it is scary for the characters, not so much scary for me. In addition, like I think I said this before, I'll definitely say it again, but this is a really good comp title for The City We Became. Like, and that's funny because that's like an 800-page book, and this is like a 150-page book. So it's kind of funny to compare them. But they're both Lovecraftian. Both of them features conversations about race and otherness and like the ways people perceive other people and how hate can be weaponized against people. And I just think they have similarities but are very different, like in the era and just overall length and storyline, because obviously this is horror, that is fantasy, but they do have like a through line that I think if you like one, you'll like the other. Now, what I ended up deciding to pick up next is the book I actually thought I would leave last because I was dreading it the most, but last night I picked it up just to see how bad it was going to be for me, like how much of a slog, and I got like immediately enraptured with trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, and I don't think I'm going to get answers to any of those questions just based on anything I've ever heard about this story, and that is, We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This is the one that is sketchiest on whether or not it is actually a novella. It appears on horror novella lists, but at the time it was published, it was probably published as a novel. But I'm continuing it to read it in this video no matter what, because this is my channel and it's my rules. I am literally like only 10 pages into it, but I am very curious, and like so far I really like the narration of the main character. Like the things she says, I'm just like, what, like what's going on here? And this is weird, like the scene where she's like going into town and doing the shopping really reminds me of like the scene in a book I read earlier this year called it's Darcy Coates. It's like The Haunting of Ashburn House, I think is what it is. Where like at the beginning of that book she has to like walk into town and do the shopping, and like that was something the aunt that she inherited the house from did, and like the aunt would also get like stared at and stuff like that. So I kind of feel like Darcy Coates might have gotten inspiration from this book with that scene, but that's neither here nor there. So basically, plan for today, I'll probably read more of this tonight. I finished her. Listen, I said it before, and you're gonna hear it again. This was the one I was least looking forward to. But oh my god, I loved this. This was so good. You can tell it was good because my eyes are like super strained right now. Like my eyelids are like pulled tight. Because I was just so invested. Like, and I think what I've learned with this and what I read right before I started this video is that I like confusing shit. Like I like the weird shit that's not fully explained, and I like sort of being in a character's head and have sort of this stream of thought and like not being fully privy to the reasons why they think that or whatever. And I just love this. This is on the best, like my favorite books of the year. Like this was fabulous. 5 stars across the board. Oh my god, like this is so good. Like this was a big win for me. And I'm honestly shocked, and it makes me want to reread The Haunting of Hill House, because like I read that a couple years ago. I didn't really like it. But now that I've read this and I like it so much, I'm like, shit, like, should I reread that just to see if, like, things have changed since then? Anyway, like, this is not, like, typical horror. I would actually, like, I would, like, my comp title for this would be Devil House, by, that guy. Just because like it is sort of a weird stream of consciousness and you're kind of confused about what's happening sometimes, and it's not particularly scary even though it's marketed as horror. It's more confusing and it's more loose in narrative style. Like you don't fully know even at the end of it like what's real and what's not real, and I loved both of those books. So this was so good. I would recommend it to anyone. There's a reason she was in Target. Like, I'm so glad I own this. literally so happy right now that this was good. Bad news is I still have 2 hours, don't have another book. So we're just gonna have to read fan fiction or something, but ta-ta. Hello everybody, I have returned home and I am still thinking about her. Her, of course, being We Have Always Lived in the Castle, because I'm obsessed, queen. It was just phenomenal, and I'm honestly a little bit nervous because I don't know, like, how is anything gonna stand for, like, compared to that. So looking at what I have left to read for this video, first I have Sour Candy by Keelan Patrick Burke. This is like 70 pages, so this will be like a really quick one and done. Like this, I imagine that this will take between 30 minutes and an hour for me to finish. So I think like this one, if I can't finish it while I'm working tomorrow, I can definitely finish it in like the hour before I go to bed. So I think I'm going to save that one for last, and I'm going to pick up this one either tonight or tomorrow, The Cockroach King by Andrew Cole. This one's a little bit longer. It's about 150 pages. This one actually has trigger warnings in the back, which I thought was kind of cool. It's nice when like indie publishers do that sort of thing, you know. But I was actually looking at the Goodreads reviews for this, and they're actually very good. So they're very good. So I'm excited for that one. So I think that's where I'm going to start. It is like a haunted house story. I've given you all the summary. We don't have to rehash that. Hello everyone. Shout out to winter. It's fucking cold and it's snowing. Or it was snowing. Now it's lightly drifting down from the heavens, and I'm sure it'll start snowing even harder again here in a second. Tragically, I would love nothing more than to read a book with like a candle tucked in bed, but I have a shit ton of stuff that I need to finish today before I go on a weekend vacation to see my grandmother, and I have work from fucking 5 to 10 tonight, so tragically I'm not going to be able to do that. So I think I'm going to go to Dutch Bros and get something hot to drink to pretend for a second that I have no obligations. But what you guys care about is I have finished the last 2 books. I finished The Cockroach King last night. I would say, first things first, I didn't realize this, but there is like the larger story, which is 100 pages, that is The Cockroach King, and then there's like 2 short stories included afterwards, and I did read both. I didn't care for the last one, but the second one was alright. I liked the main story. It wasn't anything special, and there were like it felt a little stiff and predictable at times. Like I wish it had gone a little bit more balls to the wall. Like the way things ended, I felt like was a little bit too good. But I did genuinely like get the care that this mother had for her kid. So like there are parts of it that I respect and like from this collection. I don't think I will think about it a whole lot in the future. So that's this one. Next up we have Sour Candy. This one I ended up rating 3 stars. But Sour Candy by Keelan Patrick Burke, I did enjoy. I think this one is also a 3-star. It was short, which I think it was the proper length. I enjoyed sort of the kid was like genuinely freaky, and it is sort of the, like, I liked the horror element that it was sort of playing on, is like the responsibilities of parenthood, like being a parent when you don't want to be, and like it was genuinely freaky in that way. I did not necessarily love the way it ended, but I am interested after reading it in reading his other short story, Blanky. Probably not anytime soon, but that's sort of where we are at. So I will talk to you in the wrap up when I get home. But for now, I think I'm going to go get my hot drink. I sat my whole ass in a dog bowl full of water just a second ago. So we're gonna make this a little bit briefer. Basically, I have finished all 5 of the books. We are at the end of the video, obviously. To give you a brief ranking of all of them to sort of remind you, Halloween Fiend, 2 stars. This one's coming in at the bottom. Cockroach King, 3 stars. Next in line, not because I didn't like it, there is a bit of space between these two, just because I'm never going to think about it again. Sour Candy, also 3 stars. Just because I don't think it really. You know what? I'm not gonna justify that. 3 stars is a good rating. It's not good. It's not super good. It's not super bad. I liked it, but that's not gonna hang out here in my mind for after this video. Next we have The Ballad of Black Stomp. This is 4 stars. Again, comp title, City We Became, one of my favorite books of the year. A very good commentary on race and things like that within these pages. Would highly recommend. It was a lot of fun. And then my favorite book of this video, and probably one of my favorite books of the year, The City We Became. We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. 5 stars, but 5 stars with the extra sparkles around. This book is so good, and it really confirmed something I had suspected about myself, but for a very long time assumed not to be true. And this confirmed that my reading taste had in fact changed, that I don't mind books that are more ambiguous in nature, that have sort of a weirder perspective and doesn't say everything that is implied. I really enjoyed the fact that this was ambiguous. I enjoyed not knowing what was going on at some points, and I still enjoy the fact that I don't know certain things, because I keep thinking about it due to those factors. I look forward to reading this sometime in the future, because I know I will, because I'm sitting here even now being okay, I need to reread to look for clues for this, and this. And it's just really good. I would highly recommend it, and it was a lot of fun. So, those were 5 books. You can see them all here. So small. And I think what I really learned from all of this is that short fiction is a lot of fun to read. And that's not earth-shattering, I assume. But it's also just nice to have... It's nice to get through stuff and look back on it and be that was a satisfying story, and it didn't take me 4 days to read. So, Jay just got home, so little dog is freaking out. That's sort of so that's the end of the video. I really don't have anything else to say, and I don't want to hang out here for a whole lot longer. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that the intro especially was super awkward. God bless you if you got to this point because of that intro. It was rough, but I'm still sort of getting used to this, and getting comfortable. This is a fun hobby I've had, and I've been filming a lot of videos and not posting them. And this is the one that I'm gonna force myself to post just so I can actually get started. If you want to, you can subscribe and comment down below. Maybe you can recommend me some novellas. I'm also looking into some Indigenous books for next month. I plan on doing a video of Indigenous fiction. I have most of the books for that TBR already, but I read them throughout the year anyway, so if you have any recommendations, let me know. Other than that, I appreciate your view, and I hope to see you all again. Have a great day.